I went home and tore it all apart. And I said, you know what? Let's just be real. Let's just deal with the facts, and let's make sure that we all feel comfortable talking about connected ministry. This is really what this is all about. It's about connected ministry. You all possess inside of each and every one of you all the fire and the power of the gospel of Jesus Christ, right? Romans 16, 1:16 says, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation. So you all carry that with you everywhere you go. You're salt and your light everywhere that you go. But what you need to add to your arsenal is just the opportunity to release it. And so you have not always been placed in the right situations to release it. Sunday mornings is one of the times where you can release it. Saturday evenings are sometimes the place where you can release it. But not always is it a Sunday morning experience. And so I want to take you into what Glue has done, what our technology has discovered, and then I'm actually going to sign up here while we're talking, and then I'm just going to talk things that we mentioned before in greater detail. Is that okay? All right. So next slide. Scott Beck is the CEO of Glue. Scott is an entrepreneur. And if you know anything about entrepreneurs, they have an apostolic gifting on them. They may not know that, but that's what that is. They have the ability to create. They understand that it's time to build, it's time to rise up, and it's also time to plant. And so when he has had the opportunity to plant, he is struck while the iron is hot. He's been instrumental in first round of investing in Boston Chicken, which became Boston Market, and then as well as Blockbuster and a host of other different things. And so he's definitely been instrumental, but he has a heart for the people of God. And he has more importantly, he has a heart for serving what he calls champions. And he says that our purpose is to release the passion in every person, to champion the growth of another, so that they can be all that they were born to be. And so when we talk about champions, we're talking about you. We're talking about brothers and sisters in Christ who share the gospel every day, people who are witnesses every day. You all are champions. And so the Glue exists to serve those champions. What that means for you all is that we are not consumer based in what we do. So we know that seeds are going to get spread on the ground, right? And some of it's going to fall on good ground, and some of it's going to fall on rocky ground, and some of it will get the life choked out of it, and that's a violent thing to think about. But we're in the business of sowing seed, amen. And so that's why we do what we do, is because we want to help the sower continue to sow. All right, next slide. And that's a little bit hard to see, but the four things that we really see inside of a church like the AMU Church is the ability to be innovative. We want you all to focus on taking all of the things that you already have naturally in your church and then using them to inspire new ideas. We also want you to be able to recognize the cultural changes that are going on. Now, see, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. We don't have the problem knowing how to recognize cultural changes. We don't miss the move. In fact, we often create the move. Okay? If it's a new dance out, somebody from our house probably created it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go down the line. I'm not gonna, raise your hand and say who knows the stanky leg. who know how to swag surf. But
Doc, some in here.
I'm in the middle. Okay, my generation is in the middle, so I know a little bit about holding to his unchanging hand, but I also know about.
Son, some of them in here still know how to shingle in.
Yo, okay, see, I just missed the shingle.
Ask your father. Ask your father.
That's my father. I will. As soon as I get home, as long as you can believe I'm asking too. The what? The wobble?
Wow.
Yeah, that's at every wedding reception. We created it though. That's the Cupid shuffle, the electric slide, all that we created.
Yeah.
And so that's not usually our problem. Our problem is usually not being able to adapt to cultural changes. What we sometimes struggle with in the church is understanding that we're not changing the message, we're just changing the method. So it's really important we don't focus on, hey, I'm not trying to water it down, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, amen. No, sisters, we're not asking you to sugarcoat nothing. Please believe me. The gospel is still powerful, it's still potent, it still saves people in jeans as well as slacks, as well as shorts. The third thing is serving, sharing the gospel. Again, I said it once yesterday, I'll say it again. We have to be outward focused. The gospel that we preach is a go and tell gospel. The commission that we are signed up for, that we are subscribed to, amen, is a go and tell commission.
Amen.
It's in the word, it's in the commission.
That's right.
It is not a come and see commission. And so if you are waiting for them to come through the front door, you will miss them going out the back door. They will have already been there. They will have already been in the room, and you will have missed them. So we preach with that in mind. We teach with that in mind. We love with that in mind. We serve with that in mind. And then we want to create multiplier models. One of the things that I'm really going to sit down in just for a few minutes, because I'm going to make sure that we get this, is that we have to have systems. One of the things I love about in systems.
Yes, sir.
Is believe in reporting. They believe in taking accountability. As soon as we got here, one of the first sessions was, y'all need to make sure the reporting is right. And that's a great thing. That's a great thing. And the reason why is because, listen, it doesn't take the flavor out of what you're doing. You don't have to lose your hoop when you preach. You don't have to lose your candor or your cadence as you teach. But you have to be able to take account and be a good steward of everything that God has given you.
Amen.
If God has given you two, He is trusting and believing. If you know Him to be a good God, if you know Him to be a God who multiplies, right?
Yes, sir.
The reciprocity of God. We know the talent, the parable of the talents, right?
Yeah.
So if we believe God to, in fact, be someone who multiplies, who makes great and takes what we have and makes much of it, then we must account for what He has given us. We got to know what's in the room. We got to know who's in the room, and we got to know what's in the room. All right. Next one. I took too much time on this slide. That's what that was. So very quickly, we talked about this. We talked about raising the respect and relevance of Jesus. We're going to talk about strengthening engagement in our faith communities. We're going to talk about how to assess and assist, all right, the health and needs of our people. And then we're going to talk about ministering to the felt needs of various lost, wandering, and I also call the third group the wandering. The wandering. They are not lost. Okay? Many people from my generation are not lost or wandering. We are wondering. We are wondering
Yes, sir.
what's next. We are wondering if there's a place for us in the church. We are wondering if anybody is listening to us when we are saying, please stop doing that. Yeah, listen, I tell people this all the time, and it's not lost on me the irony of what I'm about to say, because I work for a tech company. I say this all the time, but some people in our churches, we need to cut off the live stream and turn off the audio.
Wow.
Because we are lost in the sauce of trying to create this great production, and meanwhile, stuff is going on in the background that we think.
Wow.
We're not paying attention. We're not paying attention to. We're trying to make sure that we're right in the center of the camera. And meanwhile, we got people coming in and asking for help and wondering what should I do next. And is this a church? Or did I walk in on the set of a live TV show? Or what's going on inside of here? Listen, it takes one to know it. I'm not putting anyone down. I had somebody come out of church in the middle of Bible study. He was trying to find a job. Was I going to stop the live stream? Stop Bible study? No. But at the same time, as we began to labor in the Word of God, he had questions. So am I going to stop and say, hey, we got a thing going on here. We can wait till time. No. I said, yes, this is the perfect place to ask questions. This is the perfect place to levy your concerns.
That's right.
And so yeah, there was a camera on, and simultaneously I was having a conversation with this young man. Because I was going to make sure he heard the gospel before he left. Because I may never see him again. That may be the last Jesus he ever heard about us all. So I want to make sure that he heard about the gospel before he left. I also want to make sure he had something to eat. He looked like he had nothing to want. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So, don't hear me. I understand the situation that we're in right now. We're trying to balance two different realities. We have people who have not come back to service, right? To in person. I understand that, and we're trying to be respectful of the needs and people who are immunocompromised and all of these different things. And so, yes, we are aware of those things that are happening, those dynamics. But also, there comes a time and a place where you may have to sacrifice that live feed for what's happening in the room.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, let's move on. Next slide. So what I gave you all was the postcard that I gave you all. It has a QR code on it. Now, for those of you that are not necessarily computer savvy, we can do this later on. We can do this at a different time. I just want you all to be aware. You literally can take your phone out as if you're going to take a picture of it and hold it over that QR code, and then it will pop up the link where you can begin to fill out your information. So I'm going to kind of go through that thing just so you can see what it looks like. You can be doing this right now if you feel comfortable with it. If not, I'll be in the back. We definitely can go through it together, okay? So don't feel pressured. Don't be like, oh Lord, here we go. I got to open up this camera and then, some of us get real scared and can't open up on our face and open up the other way. It's okay. You don't worry about that. Okay. So that's the next slide. So what you're going to see when you go into it, the first screen you're going to see is going to tell you to set up your profile. Your profile is you as a person, you as an administrator of the church. Now you're saying, okay, I'm not the administrator, I'm the secretary, I'm not the administrator, I'm the pastor, I'm not the administrator, I'm a lay person. That's okay, you're setting it up under the profile, we can change those things once we got you in. So that's your information. That's not information that's gonna be shared with the public. Trust is a big thing in our company, and something I'm really grateful for, because it's very easy for information to get lost or to be fished away from you. And so we really take pride in making sure that people are not being taken advantage of, their information is not being shared or used for any other purpose than what you have it there for. So let's ask the simple questions: name, email, phone. The password needs to be at least 8 characters. Okay, you might want to write that down, especially if you're not scanning it right now. Password needs to be at least 8 characters. Doesn't have to be numbers and letters and exclamation points and all that stuff. It can be whatever, but it just needs to be at least 8 characters. Any questions about that? Next slide. And then when you go in, it's going to ask whether you are a church, a network, or an individual. You are a church. You are representing a church. Now, if you are here by yourself, and maybe your church, you need permission from your pastor to do it, you actually can set up an account just for yourself as an individual. You can do that. And then go back in and use the same QR code and scan it and do it as a church when you feel comfortable. But if you are here as a representative of the church, then you are signing up as a church. And you're gonna fill out the church's information. It asks about the zip code. It asks about the average weekly attendance. Listen, there's no shame in any of that. The numbers are vastly skewed. Okay, if it's you and your family and 2 other families, praise God. Okay, you're doing the work of the Lord. He said enough. The gates of hell wasn't going to prevail against his church. Amen. He didn't say what size the church was.
Okay.
Next slide. When you get in, you're going to see this is what the home screen kind of looks like. Go to the next slide. And what you're going to see, there's tons and tons of resources that are in here. So there's prayer guides. There's series on how to help people and teach people to pray. I'm going to talk about that for a minute. But there's also resources about how to send out the best text messages to follow up on things. A lot of this platform is built around texting. And why? Why is it built around? Because from the age of 9 to 99, people are using texting. As Elder so eloquently put it, people are not opening up emails. Emails have about somewhere between a 23 and 30% open rate. So if you all are sending out newsletters, you're sending out all these things, you may be losing an entire audience. Here's the kick in the head, right? The most of our churches, especially in the Black church, the most of our churches are for people who are over 40 and up. It's composed, that's the majority of the church is composed of right now, especially attending in person. So if you are sending emails out to the vast majority of those people who are working and active and decision makers and vocal people, and they're not getting it, it's like you just sending it out into the earth with the birds to fly away, I guess. So text messaging is focal. Text messaging is key. And we have set things up inside of the platform where you do not have to reinvent the wheel. Simple highs and how you're doing strategically placed will actually help you to further engage with the people around you. Next slide. It's also going to ask you to claim a phone number. That's my number there. I'll put up the attention. You can call me. I don't run from people. If something is wrong, we want to fix it. This is a platform that really can't be broken, but that doesn't mean that you're not gonna have questions on. But even for the most savvy people, you know, you have questions. And we're gonna set up the time. I'm gonna have a sign up 1 or 2 days. And so we go on Zoom where we go even deeper than we're going now, okay? So, but it's gonna ask you to claim a phone number. As soon as you claim the phone number, it will verify it through a text code that we send to you, just to make sure that you're a real person and that you're not a bot, a computer playing around with people's information. Next slide. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that's right. And it's gonna ask you to verify it again the second time. It's always 2-factor authentication. Using 2 forms of authenticating your identity. To ask the address of the church as well as a website. Okay, no, that's a red flag for some people. They're like, our website's down, it's not, and then we'll come back to you next month, and then maybe the website will be up again. Okay, that's okay. If you have a Facebook page, you can take that top link of your Facebook page. When you log into your Facebook page, your church's Facebook page, you can take that top link, copy, and then paste it right inside of it. Okay? So if you have a website fully working, great. Use that top link, copy it, and then go in and paste it right inside of there for the website. If not, use the Facebook page. If not, use your own Facebook page. It just needs a website verification to know that the church is real. Okay, next slide. And then you get to have fun. You can, once again, scan the code that they're gonna send there. You can send yourself your first text message. But now, in Vision, you are new. You have never been to Fame before. You have never been to Ebenezer before. And you just saw that number on a live stream. Or you just saw this, because we're giving you an 800 number that's yours for your church to text back and forth with people on. So that's why you're using this number. You're actually going to take that number and say, hi. That's all you're saying. Hey, what's up? Whatever you want to say. And when you say that, it's going to have an automatic reply that says, hello, welcome to Fame, welcome to Ebenezer. This is your first time here. What's your name? Again, imagine you're the first time. This is the first time logging in, right? It's your first time engaging with anybody at this church. I'm thinking, wow, okay, they want to know my name? I tell them my name. Okay, save this number, because from now on, if you get any information from the church, you're getting it from me. From now on, instead of only sending a newsletter, instead of only sending an email, instead of, you can cut down on service times, right? Because you can give just in time information, stuff that just came up, emergency information to people. You also can give regular information that people ask you about your church all the time. Maybe your church sits on a weird corner. Maybe it sits in a cul-de-sac, and people don't know how to find you. They always miss your address on the church. You can say, hey, they ask what time the service or where the service is located. You'll be able to have a response, give them the exact address of where it's at. Next slide. How are we doing with that?
You're good.
Okay. Now we talked about engage. I want to say this. Actually, discover is the first thing I want to talk about. We're talking about discover. One of the biggest ways that you're going to discover the needs of your church is through prayer. Right? So say, that's not a technical word. That's not an IT word. That's a church word. That's a God word. It's prayer. And you need to begin to surface the needs of your people. And you need to begin to surface the needs of the people around you that somehow come in contact with you. And so how do you do that? Every time that you have a meeting, every time that you have an engagement with someone, every time that you go out for coffee, pastors, those of you who like to go out for lunch, anytime you have any sort of meeting, you should have that number stamped on everything that you have. If it's live or online, stamp it with that number. If it's on a business card, stamp it with that number. If it's out and you having a fish fry or you having a car wash, if you're doing anything, have that number in it. And ask this simple question: how can I pray for you?
Amen.
Amen.
I promise you, they have a prayer request. I promise you, they have a need. Why? Because they're human. Why? Because they live in this same messed up world filled with troubles and trials and tribulations as you do, right? They have needs. And you can expect them to be vocal about their needs when you stand on the pulpit always. I hate to break it to you, but sometimes our robes and our ceremonial garb, they scare people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
God is holy, and I want to be holy as He is holy. I wasn't allowed to go to the pulpit without a blazer. I wasn't allowed to set foot in with my. I know for a long time in the Baptist church, women weren't allowed to have no such paintings. That was heresy, you know? How would I know? We are 3 and 4 generations removed from this age, this era. And so we cannot expect the millennials of today who are finally getting a little bit of boldness about them, and definitely not the Gen Z who don't care what nobody say, and the Alpha, the Generation Alpha that's coming after them, they have no clue what we're talking about. Because they've been watching Bluey and and Caillou and
SpongeBob.
And the one that just play over and over again, it's like crack for them. I don't know what that thing is. They need to get it off of that. I don't know. The devil, I don't give the devil much credit. The devil might be in that.
Yeah.
Because the kids don't make a sound for the whole hour and a half that the thing be on.
Don't sound right.
Coco.
Kids don't make that sound.
See?
Yeah, that's a problem.
Take
problem.
Take it. Turn it off. Turn it off. I'm saying. What? Mom. The kids are mom. So what, again, how would they know what to do inside of the church? Some of them are watching Coco Miller, help me Jesus. I'm still talking about myself. Some of them are watching Coco Miller in church and don't know what's going on in church. And so by the time they raise up to start doing stuff in church, they have no idea what they're supposed to do. So again, prayer requests. We have to begin to engage and discover what are the needs out there. You know what I found? When I started asking that question, I started getting all of the things that I thought were wrong, all of the things I thought were going on with people, and all of the things I never could have imagined that they're going through. Family situations, just struggle in the family, marriage dynamics, things that I got people who's supposed to be standing to the left of me and to the right of me and supposed to be strong in the word, and they out there. They're on their last leg. And so it might have been the perfect time for me to ask, how can I pray for you? So prayer request is a big door. It's a big open door for our young people. It's a big open door for our friends in the community. And we have to view them as friends. We have to view them as neighbors. We cannot view them as folk. Or whatever you want to call them, homeless people, the incarcerated, the fresh out on release. They have to all be friends. They have to all be family. They have to all be neighbors. Because God deal with friends and how to deal with neighbors. He did not tell us how to deal with the incarcerated, except for He said to go visit them. That's another story. I don't have time to preach that. Okay. Second, next slide. a text blast? How many of you have ever received a text blast, or a group message that came out?
Reverend Fletcher sends them every 5 minutes.
God bless you.
You know that's right.
Keep up the good work.
We got the right tool for you.
Yeah. So, one of the things that, and this is a part of the engage portion. So we have a section where you can actually field prayer requests, where you can receive just random messages. You can receive messages that are a response to things that you have sent out. So you can use something that's called like a keyword. You can program the system and say, well, I know that my ushers need to be here at this time. So I'm gonna send all the messages to all my ushers. Or I know that I have volunteers. I'm gonna figure out who is a volunteer. Everybody saying, yeah, I'll do it, but ain't nobody signed up. So you can use the word volunteer as a keyword to see who actually is gonna participate. But a text blast is a very important way where you can get the message out to everyone or to a large group of people. But in our case, with our platform, we don't insist that they have the ability to text everybody back. Which, praise God for that, right? When you got people inside of the chat just going on, and it's not even about the subject anymore. You're like, please just take me off the chat. I quit. Whatever I was supposed to do, I wouldn't do. The system will retain all that information, okay? But nobody else will have to see that information. And so you can send a text blast out to people, and then you can turn around and you can decide, are there certain people that you need to exclude out of this? So maybe you have people on your call list that are not really members, but they are regular attenders or periodic attenders, and you want to get information out to them, but what you're sending out is about church only. So you see how you can start to be very specific about it. You also can send it right in that moment, or you can schedule to send it later, which is a great opportunity again to be on top of it and to plan ahead. Yes.
So we have 19 pastors and 75 registries for the conference.
Yes.
If something happened, could I have used Glue to send out a message to the 19 pastors to come early or to the 75 registrants to come late?
Yes, absolutely. And that's a great way to use it. I can have everybody inside my church and all of the churches in AME in the district. I can have them on my list, but I don't have to send it to every one of them. I can be as specific as I want to be. Don't do this, but if I don't like somebody, I can just not send it to them.
Oh, you've been in church.
Yeah. Once or twice, Let's go to the next section. I want to listen. Like I said, that we can go really deep into all these things. But a big part of engagement is you have not only an opportunity, but you have a responsibility to follow up every single time that you interact with people. Every single Sunday sermon, every single Sunday service, every single watch me. Okay, we don't have those no more, right? Every single prayer service. If God is moving in the atmosphere, don't we want to kind of start to talk about the results? Right. We have a section in there that's called stories, where literally I love it because now I can kind of supplement testimony sermons. We don't have testimony sermons. You can tell me your testimony online. You can text story to that number, and then you can record a video of your testimony, or you can type out your testimony, and then I'll get it in a form, and then I can show it to people later. So that keeps the time down, because I'm already long-winded, as you can tell. So I don't need the service, the liturgy going on for 2 hours. Don't nobody stay in service for 2 hours no more. Definitely nobody who's ever been to church for the first time. They're like, okay, that was great, but also if it weren't for the organist, I would have been on. But you just played in the background while stuff was going on. I like her to tell me. The piano just kept playing. Because it killed me when the man was talking and I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, I mean, so we gotta be planning. The entire liturgy of our service should really be meticulous, and we should be thinking about when's a good time to ask the question to the people in the audience. When's a good time to follow up with those people afterwards? So that's what you're using it. The explore page, reach in the reach section. That's where we're going out and we're finding people. Now, when you sign up, you won't immediately be into this, but you'll have the opportunity to do this. We have several campaigns that we run. So one is called Churches Care. This deals with the felt needs of people out there in your area. So I'm gonna tell you what happened. There's a growing happens in the world. People are tired of not having their answers, the questions answered. And tired of people explaining away all of the things that are going on with it. You know, we say things all the time like, earth have no sorrow that heaven cannot heal. And that's supposed to just go with somebody who just lost their mother and father. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't equate for them. Okay, you can't give an old colloquialism, an old metaphor, and expect people to be okay. They need to know that you feel what they're going through, that you understand, that you can empathize with things that are going on in their life. And so what happens is we are not in a I don't believe, people say we're in a post-Christian generation. I do not believe we're in a post-Christian generation. Because the numbers say that there are plenty of people who are curious about Jesus, and they're trying to figure out who he is, and if he is somebody they should trust. The numbers say that there are plenty of people who actually believe in the principles of Jesus, and they would follow Jesus. They just wouldn't follow him in your church.
Well,
So we are living in a post-church generation. And so we need to change the infrastructure and the spiritual infrastructure of the church. And that means that we have to go where they are. Because you know what happens? When they have a question, you know they get the question answered. How they get them answered?
Go online.
Internet, Google, absolutely. So when they go on Google, we have paid campaign partners who actually go and make sure that our Churches Care ads are at the top of those search engines. So that instead of I'm having problems in my marriage, what should I do? Instead of them getting a divorce lawyer that comes to the top, that's what normally happens. They get legal counsel that says, listen, you save you a whole lot of money. You know you're entitled to have, right? Right? That's what they get. Instead of that, if they type in, they'll get an advertisement, they'll get a campaign that comes to the top that says, hey, marriage is tough, relationships are tough, but the church cares. And when they go to the next slide, and when they go in there, they'll be able to talk to somebody, they'll see a video that kind of explains it a little bit further, and they can fill out a form. And when they fill out that form, we are going to direct them to the nearest, hopefully, AME church.
All right.
Within 20 miles. Within 20 miles, we try to, you know, it's difficult with the search radius, but if we're assigning a person to you, we will actually assign a person to that church alone. And so you will see the need that they're dealing with, and you will be able to go in the platform. You can set it up where I have the app on my phone, I get notified on my phone, I also can get a text message on my phone, because I don't check my emails all day long. I'm like Ellen, I don't check.
Pause for a second.
Yes.
I want every pastor and steward to hear what he said. You sign up, and people who are who have a felt need, spiritual need, their algorithm will direct those people to your church. That's called evangelism, and you ain't done nothing but signed up.
That's right. That's right.
And then to expand on that, since the pandemic, when everybody's doors were closed, we all on the same plane, we had to rely on technology to some degree, correct? But what emerged from that was what we call virtual lobbies. People who said, you know what? I might not come back inside the church, but I'm going to still be with the church virtually. So what's happened is now you have this virtual lobby of congregants, people that, once again, are members of your church, but they're members of your church through the technology. And that's what's emerged, and that's a part of the 21st century, what I call urban theological platform that God has created for us to leverage. So,
And I'll tell you this. Come through this portal, if you will, right? This virtual door. They are experiencing all of the above. So they're experiencing physical needs. Some of them, I spoke with a gentleman. He ended up, in the early days we couldn't figure it out, so he was 2 hours away, and so he was somewhere in I think like Fort Wayne, Indiana, or something like that. And so I said, brother, I can't be there right now, but let me make a call and see who can take you in. He's like, I have an interview tomorrow. I'm trying to get off the street. I have an interview tomorrow. I just need some clothes and I need a place to lay my head so I can get there on time. I said, do you need somebody to come once a black man tell me he trying to work. I'm like, do you need me to drive? If I leave now,
I can get you there.
I can get there. I can get there in time. Couple questions. Yeah.
So this is a technical question. Trying to follow along here.
Yes.
There's a part here that says, claim your phone number.
Yes.
Because I would assume most of our churches still have landlines.
Yes, and that's okay.
So is that what you're doing, assigning a number that can be texted to you?
Yes. So it is specifically for text. I didn't make it out. It is specifically for texting. So don't leave your landline if you got a landline, and that's how you make this in contact with you. Don't abandon your cell phone. In fact, you will need them later on probably to talk to these people.
Yeah, because I guess my concern was, again, with us being an itinerant ministry,
Yes.
our pastors are going to move. If they put their numbers in,
Right.
they're going to go with them.
Right.
So this is going to assign the church a textable number.
Yes.
Second of all, you just talked about assigning people within a 20-mile radius. I grew up here in Kansas City, so
Yes,
I
sir.
was landscape in Omaha now.
Yes.
All of our churches are 3 of the churches are within 10 miles.
Okay.
So how does that work when you start assigning?
We will assign it to a specific church, and we are continuing to work. Although there's an automation and there's an algorithm that's a part of this, it's still being touched through a human element to it. So we are trying to assign it to the nearest and best church. So no person would get the same Explorer, as we call it. No two churches would get the same Explorer. The only way that happens is if that person is reassigned because you did not respond to that person in a favorable amount of time.
correct.
Which is reasonable, right? If someone's saying, hey, I need prayer, I'm going through right now, and you're like, well, this is Friday, I'm done. So, that's probably a problem. But we do have settings in there so that you can control some things. You may need to pause. Like if I'm out, I'm one of the people that responds to these people. If I'm out, and I know that my schedule is impacted, I know I'm not gonna have time to respond. So I'm gonna pause that function until I get back, or I'm gonna make sure that somebody else in my church is ready to respond to them. Which is another reason why we try to bring someone here. Question.
What is the reasonable time to respond?
Great question. So we try to be flexible with this, right? So it's said to be around a 16-hour window, and that's because someone texts at 10 at night, you may be asleep, that's okay. So that next morning sometime you should be responding to them. I'll say this though, these are real people. And how would you act if they were in your church and they were expressing these needs? I would respond like that. That's exactly how to respond. No more, no less. So yeah, you don't have to drop everything you're doing, right? You know what I'm saying? You're out in the grocery store and you, okay, let me get my phone together and see what I can do. No, that's okay. You know, you do respond like they were in your and that you were attending to things like that. I'm sorry for the question.
So the people that are joining virtually, are they joining through your Zoom, or are they joining through this platform?
So they are only seeing what they sign in on the web on the web, right? And so we'll ask them the question: are they open for us having someone reach out to them local to their area? When they be open and talking to someone local to the area, it is incumbent upon you at that point, once you have gotten notification, to go into the platform or go into your phone if you have the app or however you can, and to message them back through the platform. So that's the first contact that you make, which is a great question. You want to make it that way first. Now, okay, I know it is not even dependent upon generations. Sometimes it's just what we're culturally normal to. What's normalized to us. So in some churches, I know some people that like they still get on the phone call, one call line for their Bible study or their Sunday school, and so that's okay. And some people they gotta see you, so they want to at least do Zoom or be in person. And many of our young people, though, they will watch you call. I've seen it, right? Who calling you, son? I was youth pastor for 8 years. Who calling you? I don't know. What? Who calling you? They called you. This is the third time they called you. My mom. Answer the phone. And they will, when they text, they'll turn around and text back. So we gotta be aggressive. Yes.
So I received a message from the one that
Yes.
and then I send my.
No, so that 800 number that is been assigned to you, you can go in the platform and respond to them in a space that's gonna be in there. So you can just type a little quick message. Hi, mine usually goes like this. Hi, this is Pastor Mick from NIC Church. I got your message online about XYZ. When will be a good time to talk? From there, I can respond to them. And I probably will put just a little bit more. I try to empathize each time, especially my first interaction with them. It takes about 16 touches, really, to cement a real relationship with deep connection. And so this is my first opportunity. So I'm just gonna say, hey, I've heard about what's happening. Sorry that's going on with you. I'm not gonna process that. I'm not gonna evangelize the mess out of them. And you need to salvation is free. But but I'm gonna text them through that portal. Continue the conversation. I can say, hey, here's my number, or here's a church number, right? Call me here. You know, when we call, if we set up a time. You get what I'm saying?
I just want to invite them to virtual.
And you can do that. So you would send them a message, and then you would probably, if you have a virtual lobby, a Zoom or Facebook, you can send them a link. But you want to first empathize with that's going on with them. That's number one. They will never make it. They won't make it to online if they don't know that someone is actually listening to them. What's going on with them?
Just a quick clarification.
Yes,
They don't know who they've been assigned to
that's correct.
until the person responding
Yes,
tells them.
yes.
And then they give them the church name and address and Catholic name. So they're making a line, reach out.
Yeah, and they know that the person is from a church, but they don't know which church. And so again, that's why keep your profile, keep your statistics, your stat line. You know, don't come in like Jordan. I got 19 conversions, and I got 20 salvations and 32 baptisms last month. Come see me. You know, like no, be be gentle, stepping into the water. This is a person who's expressed felt need. Again, those needs can be physical, emotional, and spiritual. So we gotta address the need first. Last, discussion, one last thing, and then if we gotta go, we can go. Okay?
You got a moment, because I do want you to touch the He Gets Us campaign. If you
Yes, that's where I'm going. So the next slide is He Gets Us. That's it's a little tough to see. But the He Gets Us campaign started from that research that we started conducting. Again, understanding that this is growing discontent for the way that things are. And that people need to understand there needs to be a raise, a bridge that is span between the respect and relevance of who Jesus is. What happens often, right, is that people only know the Jesus that they see. And so this is an opportunity. Some of you have seen the commercial. We had the opportunity to be all over the place. We had 2 commercials during the Super Bowl. We've had I think that number is off. I think we've had over 500 million streams of views on YouTube. 500 million. We had over 1 billion impressions across. So that means who Jesus is, how he served the poor, how he was born to a teen mom, so there was already scrutiny. He understands family drama, amen. The fact that he was tired of politics is the way they are, the divisiveness and the discord. Jesus was tired of all of that, and Jesus still loved and still invited everybody to the dinner table. So these are the things that we personify in today's terms through 15-second, 30-second, and 1 minute videos. But because of that, the people we partner with who actually market and create these campaigns, these commercials, we've also been able to have tens of thousands of downloads of the Bible app. And so you'll have access to all of that information on the platform as well. Devotionals, prayer series, all these sort of things are made possible, even talking points from different leaders. And what we hope to do is to continue to build upon that resource library so that some of the thought leaders that in the AME church would also be a part of that resource library as well, and to be populated.
Excuse me,
Yes.
how do you go about populating it? Is there a vetting? How do you determine that we can put our stuff on there? Videos or devotionals or?
So yeah, great question. The resource library that we've created, that's been over a large span of time. We've started relationships with different partners. So He Gets Us was a strategic partner that they started a relationship with over a long period of time. Barna, which is a research platform, it's got all sorts of information on the church. And I know I'm not going to have time to talk about it, but that measure part of it, there's a great assessment in there for you to take and see, is your church healthy? Is your church thriving? Is your church surviving? And I recommend that everybody take that as well. But there's a creative aspect to further your point. There's a creative aspect in there as well. We'd expect that you already have creative things inside of you. So you can take the framework and you can start to build your own resources in there as well. So it's definitely a space for that.
Yeah, and we do have a group of individuals within the company that as you continue to get comfortable with it, and once you say create your own kind of resources, you can share that with us.
Yeah.
And that's how we can get them into the platform. But that's once you've kind of like really, and it would probably be through the district,
Yeah.
because the district is our network partner.
Yeah.
So you bring them to LGKG will let us be able to have them posted and shared. And so other churches, within the African American faith community and the Big C church, we look at it the Big C church. And the African American church is a segment within it. We've been holding it up forever, but nonetheless, we're segmenting it. And so that's how we would do that.
And more to the point, more to the point, if you all will sign up, they have a business assistance team that will teach you how to use it, how to maximize it for your church. But you have to sign up.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And how much does it cost, Reverend McKenzie?
Yes, if I didn't say that, it costs you nothing.
Right.
It has been paid for by kingdom-minded donors, donors who care about the church.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, it costs a lot to send unlimited text messages, to have unlimited keywords, to have unlimited.
And just stop. I don't know about you all. I was at my last church during the pandemic. We were robocalling and sending out text blasts. It was costing us $250 to $400 a month.
Yeah.
It will cost them how much on Glue?
Zero. Right.
Nothing.
Zero. And if I could add a context too about Explorers, because so I'm the ministry team at the First Baptist Church, Chicago, the oldest Baptist church in Chicago, 189 years old, American Baptist. Okay, got that out the way. So capacity, we have now received over 1,500 Explorers. They're my virtual congregation now, right? So now I use that language, capacity. You know, we started getting them and they started coming in. I'm like, whoa. So we had to pause. We had to staff up for it. But there were volunteers who we were able to get, who understood that technology real well. And then we came off pause, but today we have over 1,500. So to give you an idea. And they're not tithers. They're givers to my church. I'll talk about that later today, about other ways to source out revenue through this relationship with Glue on the platform.
Yeah.
And these are because they want to give to causes in community, because I've served their needs. Hey, how can I serve you? So,
Isn't that the
So we
problem
take
you want to have?
questions.
Isn't that the problem you want to have?
that's a good problem.
That you need to staff up because you serving so many people.
Are we limited to people in our area or to the whole platform? In terms of population?
In terms of the people that we would send your way, yeah, it will be people in your area, but you do have the option. Now, if you felt like, hey, I've staffed up my church, we understand how to do this, and we're responding regularly, you could actually open it up to a larger radius, or you could actually open up to have nationally be receiving Explorers. Now you're really serving people all over the world, and you know that a large portion of them are not going to come to your church, but you can do that.
Any other
If you
questions?
have Spanish speaking people in your church, you have a bilingual church, you know, we have the option to be able to speak to those people as well.
So Reverend McKenzie will be here later on today for some individual questions. Pastors, make sure someone in your church, if you didn't do it in January, make sure someone in your church scans the QR code, opens an account for your church, will then connect it to the Midwest North District Network. I would just say for those of you who are Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday night, struggling with what word you'll have on Sunday, the sermon resources available through, he gets us through Barna. Many of y'all remember 40 years ago, George Barna was the guru of church growth.
Yeah.
They have 40 years worth of his stuff available to you for free. Bible study resources. We always complain
Dear
we're the
God.
last ones to get a resource.
Yeah.
They brought the resource too.
That's true.
Don't be sitting here 10 years from now saying, man, we didn't have an opportunity. It's right here. So because we want to make sure everyone has a chance to take a break and set up for worship, let's give Reverend McKenzie a round of applause. He will be here and also be more from his compadre, Dr. Johnson, in our next segment. But for now, everyone stand up. Everyone stand up. We want our blood to flow.
Bones.
We want everyone who loves the Lord to raise your left hand and keep it raised. Your left military left. Keeping your left hand raised. We want everyone who is thankful for life and health and strength to raise your right hand. Keeping both hands raised. If you love the Lord, say, Jesus, I love you.
Jesus, I love you.
I put those hands together. Give God some praise. We'll see everybody.